Hey everybody, it's Thursday, the 26th of March. This is social studies, 7th grade. But again, 6th and 8th grade students and families are more than welcome to join. Apologies for the thumbnail. It caught me mid yawn, which left a very beautiful image of me with my mouth half open, apparently. So whenever this gets uploaded and you watch it later, you're probably going to see my ugly mug yawning. So apologies in the forefront. Um, Been a kind of a crazy morning and afternoon for me. One of our twins, hi Katana, Elena, Gamer J. Yes, this is the 7th grade dedicated time, but again, 6th and 8th grade students are more than welcome to join because everybody, regardless of grade, got the same work really for social studies. So if your username, guys, isn't, oh, that's okay, it's Dimitri. If your username is not your, or if I can't tell who you are, just let me know, Jeremiah. Okay, that way I can like mark down who's here and stuff. But yeah, Ezra woke up around like 5 this morning, so my wife and I both kind of went downstairs, but he was okay. But he's been running a fever the last few days, so I took him in this morning about 8:30 to the doctor. He's doing all right. He's got a little ear infection. But then our dog's also not been feeling well, so I had to take her to the vet. So that was interesting to see how that all works with, everything going on with us being told to stay home and non-essential businesses. But yeah, we'll get started here in a few minutes. What I'm going to be doing is probably quickly reviewing what we went over yesterday with the executive branch. Again, kind of looking at the president, vice president, president's cabinet, and kind of the responsibilities and the roles of what the executive branch is or what they have for the United States government. Today, we're going to be looking at the judicial branch, which is one that not a lot of people know about or are most unfamiliar with, I think we'll say. Nick, good to see you here, Nick. So, but yeah, hope everybody's day is going pretty well. I get that some of us are maybe just waking up because we're marathoning Fortnite or whatever other game you guys are playing right now. So try to get up sooner if you guys can. That way you can catch some of the stuff. I know Mr. Sirianni had some videos earlier today, and we're trying to find other things for you guys to make this more interactive to help out with that. So maybe tomorrow, once I figure out the screen recorder app, I can kind of use that a little bit easier for you guys and make it good to see you too. How have you been? I've been all right, Nick. Just trying to keep myself busy, whether it's just watching the boys or finding something to watch, play games. Just make sure I'm not just constantly watching the news and stuff like that, and just kind of bringing me down. Hopefully, you guys are doing something very similar, whether it's finding a show that you like or a new show or a game, whatever, something to keep you busy. And hopefully, you guys are staying inside and not going out and kind of ignoring this whole thing, because it is serious, even if it doesn't feel like it on our level. If you look at places like in California and New York, things are a lot different and a lot more severe than they are here, and we don't want to see that. Hi Maddie, that's weird. Hi Mom. See that kind of thing happen here. So again, I know it seems like you're getting kind of bored or stir crazy, but the best thing to do to try to help stop this from getting any worse is to stay at home and limit these big groups of people from interacting with each other. So it looks like we got a pretty sizable chunk of kids here, which is good to see. Right about the same amount as yesterday. Morning, Miss Yingling. But yeah, I'm just doing a quick check-in with you guys. Hopefully, like I said, everybody's doing well. Type your book report. No, Dimitri, I would not. Maybe you can get somebody else in there to type your book report. That'd be helpful. Yeah, like I said, if you have not yet taken a look at the social studies work that you were given, again, it's the same for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Strongly suggest that you start taking a look at it. Again, this work that was given out in this first wave was meant to take about 3 weeks or so for that we are off. So make sure, hey Daniel, that you are given a look every now and again. That way, excuse me, you guys are keeping busy, get changing from thing to thing. And it's not meant to be difficult. Just make sure you do the reading like we would do in class. And and I've said this on just about all the streams, really what we're going to be looking at and what I'm going to be grading in terms of your work are those workbook pages. Okay, the little like questions about the check your understanding. Those are generally things we would answer as a whole class, but if you can find room on the page, you can answer it, but it's not necessarily required. What we will hopefully look at, when we get the work from you guys, if and when that is, will be those workbook pages. And some of them are asking you to work with a partner or to give a speech to the class or present in front of the class. So obviously you can't do that. So I've been telling students, do as much as you can to meet the requirement. If it's asking you to work with a partner, maybe just assume both roles as yourself and you make up a partner, just answer their part. And I know we looked at an example yesterday for the executive branch where it's having you do like a mini presentation on a president. So I kind of went over, you can do step 1, you can do step 2, and step 3 is having you like present to the class. I'm not going to require that right now. So just try to complete as much as you can. If you have questions, again, Hangouts is a good place to ask a question if something's not making sense. Hopefully you guys have access to Google Classroom. I know that's been an issue for some of us, but just try to sign in with your school account and then your same password that you would use at school, and try to get into Google Classroom. Just search it in Chrome. It's also an app you can get on your phone or tablet. I use it a lot on my phone. I check to see if there's any new notifications. Hey Tristan, good to see you here, bud. But yeah, just make sure if you have questions, you are trying to reach us one way or another. Emails another thing. I check that as much as possible. But I am busy at times with the 3 boys because my wife is working quite a bit. She's in the middle of a 4-day stretch. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, working 12-hour shifts. So she's still staying busy during all this time. But yeah, we'll give it a few more minutes, and then, like I said, we'll get started looking at the judicial branch. And I know for 7th and 6th graders, this work is completely different from what we were, looking at in class. 7th grade, we were kind of in the middle of the Middle Ages. And then we transitioned right into the United States government. It fits 8th grade a lot better because that's the next step that they were actually going to get into. But, even though this is not in necessarily 7th grade's curriculum for the year, it's still important that we do kind of examine how the government works, how it's set up, because this will help out next year as well, because in 8th grade you will get this, and we can still do a lot of activities and a lot of things digitally or on the Chromebooks or your phone, whatever you have, that make what we're learning about relevant, because we see our government in action during this whole pandemic, whether it is your city government, whether it's the state government or the national government. So we can kind of see that being done on all levels. So it's interesting and it works out. Unfortunately, the circumstances are not what any of us wanted, but we do wish that we were all back at school. We miss you guys, whether you believe it or not. It's totally weird for us to be kind of on this end. How do I get Google Hangouts? Well, Nathaniel, it's an app you can get on your phone. Even if you have an iPhone, you can just search it from the App Store. Or you might be able to, just search it on a browser on your, whether it's Chrome or Safari. If you use a Mac, I know a lot of people use Safari on Mac, but it's an app. And I think that on the back of the packets or on a paper that was sent home, there should be like an invite link. You might need to type that in. If I can figure out where to do it, I'll try to post it here in the chat. Just give me 1 second, bud. Sorry, I know this is great live streaming stuff, just listening to me click and kind of look randomly at a screen that you guys can't see. Like I said, I'll try to fix that for tomorrow. Yeah, but let me see if I can post this for you, Nathaniel. But yeah, if you have a Chromebook or something at home, you should be able to access Hangouts. I have it here on my Chromebook. I have it on my phone. So let me see. Okay, I'm going to copy the link here, Nathaniel. And hopefully, all right, I just posted it. So if you either click that or type it in, you should be able to join the chat. It's teachers and admin, and it's also other students, and it is parents as well. So that way, if what I've been trying to do the last couple days is post about 15 minutes before I go live to kind of give everybody that has that app or everybody that's on it a heads up, like, hey, I'm going to be going up. So just a little preview. But other times people have questions about some of the work. So it's a good. When does spring break start? Ours starts, Katana, on the 6th. So we have a very late spring break. My mom was just here a little bit ago at my house to help watch the kids. She is in the middle of her spring break. She's a teacher, a first grade teacher down at Massillon, which is in Stark County. And yeah, so we still technically have the rest of this week, next week, and then ours starts, that next weekend, really. But, the rest of this week and one more week, which would mark the 3 weeks that the governor of Ohio said, that schools are going to be out. So we'll kind of see after next week what the new situation is going to be. Are we going to come back to school, or are we going to have the rest of the year off? I know, like in Kansas, I think it was, they canceled school for the rest of the year. Have class during spring break. I probably going to assume no, Nick, because it's spring break. It's our scheduled time that we aren't required to do anything, and that goes for you guys as well. So that means more gaming or more movie watching or more binging, whatever it is on Netflix or Hulu. But yeah, double check, ask Miss Yingling just to make sure. But since our scheduled spring break is April 6th through like the 10th, I don't imagine we'd have class. All right, so here in a couple minutes at about 1:15, I'll go ahead and start looking at the you're looking forward to homework, I bet. Not surprised, Katana. Oh, looking forward to no homework. Yeah, and I know you asked this yesterday, Katana. I will let you guys know whenever I do like post new things, new assignments, some more new work for you guys. Right now, again, the focus is to work on those packets, do the reading and complete the pages. And then from there, I'm going to try to do as much on the Chromebooks as possible, or as much digitally as possible. That way you guys can either do it on your phone, you can do it on tablet or computer, because we can still do things like News ELA, we can still do things like Google Classroom assignments, also maybe some Google Forms, like those interactive multiple choice quizzes or assignments that Scholastic makes that we've used before. But also I was thinking like quizzes, that is an app you can get, and you can take like a short assessment that way. And there's some other things, like I said, that we can do. But if you are joining us today and you weren't on our chat yesterday, I did post on Google Classroom a graphic organizer of sorts, a short article that nothing is there for you to complete or answer. It's just to help you guys. It looks at the 3 different branches of government. That should be the very top post on everybody's Google Classroom. I'm checking on my Google Classroom to make sure it's there for you guys. But yeah, I'm saying there's a guide from Junior Scholastic to help you with the work. Signing with Google Classroom if you're asked to sign in. So check that out if you haven't already. So I'm gonna go mop my ceiling. I'll have fun with that. That might be difficult there, Maddie. Bye, Maddie. Have a good day, dear. All right. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is pull up the work, since it is 1:15. And if you have questions about the work, ask them in the chat here. You guys can help each other out. I can help you guys out. So over the past week or so, we've examined kind of the foundations of the government, this idea of separation of powers, checks and balances and stuff like that. And then we looked at the legislative branch, the executive branch, and today what I would like to do is kind of review and kind of go a little bit deeper into the judicial branch. I know the readings on this or in this packet work isn't the most like in depth, so that's why I'm here, to kind of help provide, hopefully help provide you guys a little bit more insight into some of the key points here. So this starts, the judicial branch that is, starts on page, let me see, 226. It's closer towards the end of the packet, so page 226. And I know the page numbers jump around a lot. That's because some of the pages are copied from the red textbooks that we use sometimes in class, and then some of the other pages are copied from the student workbooks. So that's why some of the page numbers are all mashed around and they don't make a whole lot of sense. But we'll get started here looking at the judicial branch. Again, this is kind of closer towards the back, towards the end of the packet. And again, the big kind of focus question, or something that we want to keep in the back of our mind as we're looking at this part, is what is the judicial branch of government? It's the one that a lot of students and even adults and teachers sometimes have difficulty saying, the judicial branch. Easy way to think of it is judge. Think of judge, because that's kind of the prefix that you see there in judicial branch. But they provide us some key terms here, vocabulary. 8 terms. We can see Supreme Court. Okay. Then we see federal, a court, a trial, lawyer, judge, appeal, and crime. And a lot of these are, you can see, represented in the pictures. So the Supreme Court is the highest court in the country. Okay, this is where a lot of famous cases maybe you've heard about, or that these judges, again, the kind of top judges in the whole country, will listen to the cases for both sides. There's a picture of it. Number 2 is federal, and that really just means related to the central government of the United States, meaning the national government. So when they say the federal government, or they're talking about the people in Washington, D.C. And then we also have our state governments and kind of local city government. So it's a whole kind of system. Think of it as like either a funnel, maybe. You have the national big government on top, then it gets slightly smaller into the states, and then even smaller into the cities. Or maybe think of it as like a pyramid. So yeah, if you still had questions, looks like Miss Yingling just posted information in the chat. So so she said she's going to post around 4 during her time. So yeah, definitely, if you want to know what's going on during the spring break week, tell your friends to check out the live stream if they can. So, all right, continuing on, looking at some of the vocab here. We have court. Obviously, that's the place where the judge and often jury hear disagreements. If you like any of the Law and Order shows, you'll be kind of familiar with this. If you like arguing, this could be a profession that you think to get involved in, with that being a lawyer. That's pretty much what they do, is get paid to argue professionally. So looking at number 4, 5, and 6, again, with a trial, lawyer, and judge, all kind of put together in that one picture. So the trial is a legal process to decide an issue such as guilt or innocence. So one of the things here in the United States, people are innocent until they are proven guilty. Even if this accusation or this crime was kind of clear as day, people are still innocent until proven guilty. And when this was first kind of made in the United States, this was kind of unheard of. It really was that people were guilty until they were proven innocent. It was a whole other way around. This kind of comes from one of the Bill of Rights, one of the individual freedoms that people have. You argue with your siblings all the time. I'm not surprised at all, Katana. So yeah, maybe think of becoming a lawyer. But court is one of those tricky words that has a couple different meanings. So if we look over to the side where it says word study, court of law refers to the place where the people argue legal matters before a judge and often a jury. Okay, and then a court, obviously think of basketball court, tennis court, volleyball court, just that marked or that designated area where people play a specific sport. Often, and if it's inside, it's going to be like a court, but not always. Think tennis is often played outside, but still a tennis court. Number 5, we see a lawyer there, kind of pointing, it looks like at the witness, and in the background we have a judge, and you could probably hear one of the twins crying in the background. So like yesterday, I might have to take this downstairs. Jeremiah, are you asking if you need to stay? I mean, helping with the work. I mean, if you think you have it, if you think it makes sense to you, and it's really on you. I would definitely recommend that you stay, because like I said, I will go into a little bit more detail into what some of the reading goes over. Okay. And finishing up the vocab pictures there, we can see this process called appeal. Okay, this is where smaller courts or ask higher courts to kind of review a decision that the court has made. So like a state court can ask a federal court, the national, think big government, to review the case. Looks like I might have to take this downstairs. I'll give them a few minutes to hopefully calm down a little bit. I'm going to be live for about an hour, till about 2 o'clock. So, if you can stay, we'd appreciate it. If you can't, we understand. We can always check out the video later and just skip ahead to where you need to, Jeremiah. But I'm on for about an hour if I can, if my kids let me. I always try to schedule this time with their nap. So far, it's worked out most of the time, but right now it's not looking so hot. All right. So I'm going to be looking at vocabulary and context. So the judicial branch is part of the United States government that explains and interprets the law. It includes all the courts of the federal government. Federal court judges hear cases that can affect all the states. Okay? So if it's a federal court, that means if a ruling is made one way or another, all the states have to follow it. Okay? The highest court in the nation is the Supreme Court. It is made up of 9 judges called justices. The Supreme Court can get rid of or change laws if the justices or judges decide the laws do not agree with the Constitution. And there's been some very big cases. Brown versus the Board of Education, ending legalized segregation during the Civil Rights Movement. And there's been a lot of other kind of famous and notable cases over the years. But, very prominent and very popular one is Brown versus the Board of Education. Courts, back to the reading here, the last paragraph. Courts settle disagreements between people, companies, or governments. Some courts also hold trials for people accused of crimes. So in court, lawyers represent each side of a case. And so you got the prosecution and the defense. In court, lawyers present evidence to support their argument. A judge or jury decides which side is right. If one side disagrees with the court's decision, the lawyers for that side can appeal to a higher court. Okay. Oh, boys. Sorry, I'm just doing a quick check on the twins, seeing if it's both of them or just one. Like I said, I don't want to have to cut this short, but I'll try doing a little more if I can. Looks like both of them are not cooperating, so I might have to try to do this later in the day, or maybe go for a little bit longer tomorrow. So, yeah, Jeremiah, like I said, we'd like for you to stay. So this, I'm going over the work. So if you got questions, and now would be your time to ask. All right. So it has check your understanding. Again, this is generally what we would answer together as a class. Like I said, I'm not necessarily requiring this, but if you want to, just for your own benefit, to answer these questions in the space below, you can. So the highest court in the nation, and it's there in the text for us. Question number 2 is asking, what do the courts do? Number 3, who presents evidence in a court of law? And then number 4 is asking us to look at the pictures in trial. What do you think, or who do you think is in charge in the room? And that's referring to the picture on page 226, okay, one where it has 4, 5, and 6. So who do we think is in charge there? And so again, if we're doing a quick review, what is the highest court in the nation? That'd be the Supreme Court. Okay. That'd be the Supreme Court. So what the courts do, kind of what is their responsibility, or what is their job, I guess. So, and it is in the text there. They settle disagreements between people, companies, and governments. That is really kind of their job. So who presents evidence in a court of law? That would be your lawyers. Okay. Again, so each side is going to try to find the evidence that works best for them, whether it is the prosecution lawyer, okay, the one trying to accuse the person of guilt one way or another, or saying that this person is guilty of that crime, and then the defense, the lawyer, the person arguing on the behalf of the person who is accused of the crime. Sorry. And then number 4, that's something you can, again, answer if you guys want to share in the chat. That'd be great. So who do you think is in charge of this picture on the bottom right of page 226? Okay, so with the number 4, 5, and 6. This is the guy pointing in the middle, okay, the guy sitting on the left in front of the flag, or the person kind of over the person's shoulder with the number 6. Who do we think would be in charge? Okay. All right. Okay. So give me 1 minute here. I'll give you guys a second to catch up. So we're going to be starting page 228. Hopefully, I would like to be able to get through the reading, as much as I can today. But it sounds like the twins are not willing to cooperate. Number 6. So yeah, and what makes us think that number 6 would be the person in charge, Jeremiah? Because you're right, yeah, that would be the person. That's the judge. It's the lower. I don't know. I don't know 100% what you're saying there, bud. Okay. All right. So hang on real quick, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be taking the show downstairs, very similar to what I did yesterday, where I will be going or streaming from my living room, but you can follow along with me here as I go grab some of my kiddos because they don't want to nap, apparently. All right. Hold on here, Stella. All right. So I'm going to be setting up in my dining room. Just give me 1 second here, guys. Let me go grab the kiddos. So we must see how they're working. Something that you boys would watch. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have to end the stream here. If you can hear me over the screaming, I'll try to get on later today if I can, or post later. If not, I'll try to stream a little bit longer tomorrow. Apologies. Like I said, I'll try to come back later today if I can. I'll post in Hangouts in the classroom, try to record a video and go over the rest of this a little bit later. But again, if you guys want to, text each other to work together, definitely recommend that. So apologies, sorry, but things are going kind of crazy with these boys. So thank you for all those that were on today. We appreciate it. And I'll see you tomorrow or hopefully later today. Bye, guys. All right, boys.